Exchange rates are probably something that you are used to hearing about in the news, or if you are ever traveling, you will have used an exchange rate to convert money from one currency into the next. Exchange rates change in real time, all the time. So when you get a rate like what we're giving you here, $1 is 10 Rand 47, expect that to change all the time. It's not the same as VAT, which is consistently 15%. Exchange rates are things that can flow throughout the day. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to cross multiply, and if you've done cross multiplying before, then this is a great opportunity to practice that skill again. It's an incredibly useful skill. When we are given dollars and rands together, we're going to treat that like one fraction. And I'm going to write it and I'm going to say $1 and I'm going to put in the units. You don't have to use units, but it helps you understand what you're doing. I'm going to say $1 over 10 Rand 47. I'm going to treat it like equivalent fractions. So that as a ratio or as a fraction is the same as, let's see what the question is asking for now. They're asking how many rands will you get for $50? So let me put the dollars with the dollars. So they're both numerators. And what I don't know is I don't know how many rands. So the rands got the X. Okay. And when you cross multiply, it is because you have one fraction equals another fraction. And this works for any kind of conversion that you want to do that involves just two different quantities. So I'm saying dollars over rands equals dollars over rands, and I want to know what that rand amount is. Cross multiplying works like this. I say that one multiplied equals that one multiplied. So I'm going to say 1 times x. You can see I'm leaving off the currency units here because they really aren't material to what we're doing until the very last step. That equals this cross, which is 1047 times the 50. Okay, 1 times x is obviously just x. And when I multiply them, I'm going to get the number. I'm going to leave out some space for my unit now. 523.50. I was asking how many rands I get. The x was in rands. My answer is definitely rands. You might also say to yourself, well, can't you just multiply by the exchange rate? Yes, but then we're going to have a problem with question B. And I really do recommend you use cross multiplying for exchange rates, but there are lots of other ways of doing it. We also need to do a little reality check at the end of this question and say to ourselves, well, I have $50. Will that give me 50 Rand or more than 50 Rand or less than 50 Rand? And we know that the dollar is stronger than the Rand. So a little bit of current affairs knowledge goes a long way in this topic as well, because we can say to ourselves, surely it's going to be a lot more than 50 when you convert to Rands, and of course it is. The next question is asking how many dollars will you get for 50 Rand? And I'm going to use the same exchange rate because I was not given a new exchange rate. And it's still that $1 over 10 Rand 47. Notice I'm leaving the units out here because they're not actually necessary. That is the same as, excepting it wasn't $50, it's now 50 Rand. So what's the unknown? The unknown is the dollar, and I'm going to make that an X over the 50 Rand. So I've got dollars and rands and dollars and rands. Okay, so now I'm going to cross multiply. And what that's going to give me is 50, my 1 times 50, equals x times 1047. That is 1047x. Remember that when things are stuck together, it means that you are multiplying. My next step then is going to be to solve this little equation that I've created for x. I'm going to say 50 divided by the 1047. And I'm going to get my answer rounded off to 2 decimal places as 478. What is the unit? They asked me how many dollars. My unknown was the dollars. So my unit in the answer is in dollars. Working with a table is quite tricky, and I just want to talk a little bit about what this table means. Here I've got South African rands. Here I've got won, which is the Hong Kong currency, the euro used in the European Union, and then the dollar. Obviously, if I change rands to rands, it's just going to be 1, and that's why there's a 1 at each of these places, okay, because that would be 1 to 1, euro to euro, and dollar to dollar. What this means here is I've got 1 South African rand, and that's going to give me 12.9351 for every 1 rand. So this is 1 rand, and 1 won, and 1 euro, and $1. Okay, and it's the same up here. These are all 1. So let's look at the rand to won ratio. 1 rand gives me 12.9351. So clearly the 1 is weaker than the rand because I get more of them just for the 1 rand. But what if I do it the other way around? What if I do 1 to rand? So let's look here. 1 to rand. Look there, the number's completely different. For 1 won, I get 0.077 rand. And what you'll notice if you do this on the calculator is if you take 1 over this amount, you get that amount. And if you take 1 over the 12.935, you'll get roughly 0.077. It won't be exact every time with each table because of rounding off, but that's the principle, okay? We're going to use either one of those to do the next calculation. The question is, how many won can be exchanged for $100? So now we're going to be looking at dollars and won together. So once again, using cross multiplying, I'm going to set up the exchange rate together on the left-hand side of the equation I'm creating. So I want to know how many won I get, and I know that I'm going to have $100. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to do this 2 ways to show you that this table can be used either using the dollar to won conversion or the won to dollar conversion, and we'll get almost the same number. They won't be exactly the same because of rounding off, but we would mark them both correctly. Okay, so let's start off by using $1 that gets me 131.7021. Okay, remember this is $1 and then that converts to 131. So I'm going to put my units in. $1 gives me 131.7021, and that is now something I'm going to try to equate. Instead of $1, I want $100. You can probably even do this in your head. So I'm going to say $100 over the one amount is the one that I now don't know, and then I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to say x equals, so it's that, 1 times x equals 100 times the 131. So when I take 131.702 and I multiply 100, I'm actually just moving the comma twice. So my answer will be 13,170,2, or we'll say 20 for the 2 decimal places. It was how many won? So my unit here is 1. Now, what if I had done it instead using the other exchange rate, the 0.08? So then I would have said 1 won gives me $0.08. All right, so I would have said 1 won is the same as $0.008, and of course what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the number of 1 for $100, and we put the dollars at the bottom this time. The thing I don't know is the number of 1. Okay, so now it's going to be 100, cross multiply like that, 100 equals 0.008x. Do that on your calculator. The answer here is quite different to the previous conversion. I get 12,500, which I know isn't particularly close to 13,170. Because this is a rounded off exchange rate that is given, Both of these would have to be correct because of the information in the table. The next question talks about 3, and I will always go and put a number where I see the words 3, diamond drills that are going to be imported from France. The price of one drill is €23,455. We want to know how much the 3 drills will cost in rands. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 23,455 and I'm going to multiply by 3 so that I've got a total that then needs to be converted. That total is 70,365, and of course that is in euro. Now I need to convert my euro into rands. So let's have a look at the exchange rate table. Right, so let's go euro to rands. It's easier to do using this column, as you probably saw in the previous example. We want to convert euro into rands. 1 euro gives me 13,539 rands. So I'm going to write that as a fraction. 1 euro gives me 13,539. I'm now going to equate it to the amount that I've got in euros, and I'm going to have my rands as the question mark. Okay, so I'm going to put my 70,365. Euros are both on the top, rands are both on the bottom. And then, of course, my rands is X. So when I cross multiply, it's going to be X equals my 70,365 times my 13,539. And I get 952,671,735, which will round off to 0.74, and my unit, of course, is rands. My last example with exchange rates is working with pounds. So we are not told the exchange rate, and this is a different kind of question. The calculator costs £12.80. You buy it over the internet, so you have to pay £3.30 for delivery and other costs. Okay, so I'm definitely going to add those together. But then they tell me my total is actually in rands, and the question is, what is the exchange rate? Okay, they want £1 equals how many rands? Let's just start at the beginning. My £12.80 plus my £3.30, that is £16. Let me put the unit in, my £16.10. Okay, now what I want to know is I've got £16.10 and 289.32, and those are the same. They work the same. So I'm going to actually carry on cross multiplying. I'm going to put the pounds at the top, the rands at the bottom. But now what do they ask for? They want to know £1 equals how many rands. My X is going to be here and it's going to be with the rands. And they've told me they want £1 over there. Okay. So I need to now figure out what that X is. And again, I'm just going to cross multiply. I'm going to say that times that equals this times this. So I have 16, 1x equals 289,32, and then I'm going to divide to solve for x. I get out 17,9701 and a whole lot of things. I do need to round up to 2 decimal places, so I'm going to say 17,97, but what was that again? That is rands. They wanted the exchange rate, so I need to give it £1 equals the 17,97 rands.